All right, good afternoon. First of all, just obviously very disappointed. We did not finish that game on Saturday. Thought our guys played extremely well for 2.5 quarters. Did not in the fourth quarter, ultimately. And, I don't think a lead is safe in college football anyway, particularly if you don't play well in the final quarter. Several reasons, I think, why the outcome happened. Obviously, very disappointed not knocking the field goal down right before half. Thought it was a big momentum switch right there. Not getting a 3, giving them 3. So a 6-point turnaround. And then, did good coming out in the third. And then just gave up the score in the third. And then fourth quarter did not get any first downs offensively. And then obviously letting them drive and score. So disappointed. But now, moving on. We got a big opponent this week, Miami. And one that we've been talking about all year. All summer, all camp, we realize, how big a game this is. I mean, the 128th time playing, the record is 60-60-7. You can't get any tighter than that. And, we all have, you guys have seen and read and heard about the series. We don't know what the series is going to be, for the future, what it's going to hold. So all the more importance of, getting that bell back. So, obviously this week need to have a great game plan. This is the team that's used to winning. They're coming off a season where they won the MAC last year, have their leader back at the quarterback position, who's a really good player, great arm. Last year I think rushed for 75 on us, so he's got some legs as well. They got their linebacker back, number 15, who was a MAC Defensive Player of the Year, who's an outstanding player. He's the quarterback on defense, makes all the calls. They're coached well. They play hard, all 3 phases. They don't give you anything. You have to earn everything. And obviously going and playing at their stadium will be different as well. So, but we're looking forward to this game and looking forward to going and, trying to get that bell back here to Cincinnati.
Kevin, Scott.
Coach, when you go back over the tape, Corey Kandra had 3 carries in the fourth quarter for 43 yards, I think. Was there any, maybe, second thought we maybe should have given Corey the rock a little bit more in the fourth quarter to slow them down?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we want to get the ball to Corey. I mean, he's a great runner. He ran great Saturday. Part of that was the fact that we had to punt several times in the fourth quarter, where I think throughout the game we were, getting some first downs, and now you're getting 3 more opportunities to get him the ball. He ran hard, and had to shoot 150 yards, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if you look back on it, maybe getting there a few more carries for him. Because he was chucking out some big-time plays for us. And the guys up front, I thought, did a good job throughout the day. I mean, they were bringing a lot of pressures, throughout the whole day. But obviously, you give Corey the ball, it's an opportunity for him to make a play. And, but when he's not in there, whoever the running back is needs to make the plays. I mean, we count on those guys as well, and they have to be able to make the plays if they're in the game.
You saw the players after the game. You've seen them since. Do players take a gut punch like that a lot better than the fans?
Well, I mean, we have to. You're going to be upset. You're going to be. Everybody hates losing. Like, I don't care who you are. No one hates losing more than the players and the coaches. I mean, this is what we're here every day. We're trying our best to win. So we obviously hate it. In this business, though, you can't. After you dwell a little bit on the loss and you figure out what you didn't do well, but then you have to move on. And I thought our guys did a really good job coming back on Sunday, owning the loss. And then moving on to Miami. Our guys have been here, yesterday evening, and today, all day in the training room, in the weight room, preparing their bodies to come out here for a great practice.
Keegan?
You mentioned before the season that it could take 3-4 weeks to kind of find out what team you have. Does a loss like that kind of set you back on that and trying to establish an identity, or does it maybe help you see people's reaction to a loss like that?
Yeah, I mean, you're still trying to figure your football team out. I think we're everybody across the country doing that. We see college football, you see how it is. I think offensively, we got a good idea who we are offensively. I mean, I think, we've thrown the ball well the first 2 weeks. We ran the ball well. I think we've taken care of the ball. So I think offensively, just got to put points on the board. We all know that. Defensively, we're still trying to figure some things out because, obviously a new defense, new scheme, a lot of new players on that side of the ball. I think I was proud of those guys, man, the first like 2.5 quarters defensively. I would say that's a really good offense. They did fast pace. They keep the pressure on you. Quarterback's very good. The running back's outstanding. So and for us to be able to do like we did and to hold them to 6 points for most of the game was outstanding. And now you got to figure out how to finish. We gave up some big plays there in the fourth quarter. We had opportunities to sack him too. I mean, we had guys there. We slip off. He made some guys miss. He wasn't fast, but elusive. Going back and watching the film, I mean, there's several times where we got guys there and we're just falling off, or we're flying right by him when he sticks his foot in the ground. So, we have to do a better job of tackling, getting guys on the ground, and I think if you do that and, then you got a greater opportunity, obviously, to win those games. But we're still, figuring out which guys need to be in positions to play and to give us the best chance to be successful on defense.
It should get better with Dante, but what can you do to improve the run defense? Miami has not run the ball well thus far, but you guys probably have given them up more than you would care to.
Oh, no question. Well, we got to tackle better. I mean, you go back and watch the film, and, a lot of our defense fitting is safeties coming down, making tackles, and our safeties, our weak safety, we had 3 different guys come down and miss tackles on some long runs. I mean, they're there to make the play. It just didn't make it, so we have to tackle better. We have players in position. That's one thing we have to do is you go back and watch the film. And like I said, we had the quarterback hemmed up several times in the backfield. We don't get him down. Those plays change games because, now you're looking at a long yardage situation as opposed to a first down. I mean, but I think a lot of it has to do with tackling, being in the right spots and getting the guys down.
It didn't seem like there was a ton of 5- and 6-man rushes. You mentioned at your radio show on Tuesday that there would be much more against Pitt than there was against Towson. I guess why the hesitancy to send all those guys? Is it just trying to hammer out the defense in the best way in the base, or what is it?
Well, I mean, again, just trying to figure out what we do well and what we don't do well. You obviously don't want to give up. If you bring a lot of pressure, then you're a little bit shorthanded in the back end, so you don't want to give up the big plays. But obviously if you don't, then the quarterback's got more time, so then you got to cover longer, right? So, I mean, there's that give and take right there and figuring out what's going to be the best. We did bring more pressures in the last game. I think, as you go back and look at it, probably more than double, maybe triple than what we did the first game. Again, you go back and watch the film. There's, as you watched it live, you probably don't realize sometimes we got guys there and we're just not making the plays. We just have to be able to get them down. But I do think, as we continue to move forward, whatever gives us the best chance to stop people, that's what we have to do. And if it is bringing pressure, then that's what we're going to need to do and get more guys closer to the box.
Menkins had a big pick in the game in the first half. Then you were without him. Is he going to be okay? He could make a difference in the secondary. Yeah, I mean, we hated to lose him in the second half. He got the pick there in the first half, and smart player knows how can do the run and the pass. He's still right now. He's day to day. We'll see. We'll know more hopefully by the middle of this week to see if we'll have him available this week or not. Canteen slid over and played the free safety position in the second half. Logan, filled in most of the day in the strong safety in the second half. So. We'll have to figure out, what positions we need to put our guys if he's not available. But we'll see where he's at middle of the week.
It looked like there was a Pitt defensive player that tackled Brennan from behind and then kind of held on to his ankle. He got up limping, and then from there, I don't think he was as efficient in the passing game. Did you hear anything on the sideline about him not being 100%? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think one of the runs early in the game, one of their players grabbed and, tried to twist his ankle at the end of the play, tweaked it up a little bit, obviously finished the rest of the game and, played. I don't know if it had an effect on him throwing the ball. I think during the second half, they started, more pressure was coming and several of them were throwaways. And I think, too, if you're looking at it, it looks like, okay, some high throws and that type of thing, but I think throwing it away, but I don't really think it had much effect on him throwing, but he did tweak it and, he's better now, but obviously affected him a little bit in the second half.
Last year was your first loss to a MAC team, but you've certainly played them. Northern Illinois, big win. Bowling Green plays Penn State pretty tough. Is that league, do they get discounted a lot?
I think so. I was at Toledo in 2009. Toledo's always been a team that's been very good. Ohio beat Iowa State last year. I mean, these MAC teams, man, they can beat anybody, on any given day. They've proven that. I mean, and last week, IU goes into South Bend and wins. You mentioned the Bowling Green team that played great against Penn State. So yeah, they're always good. I mean, I think about Miami, and I look back last year, and I go back and look at their scores. I mean, the last time they gave up more than 21 points was our game last year. I mean, that's a lot of games, because they're always in the game. Like they don't give up a lot, and so therefore they're always in the game. And I think a lot of those MAC teams are that way, where they're always, if they get to keep it close and you get into the fourth quarter, man, they got a great chance of winning. And so I think in the MAC as well, when I was at App State, you always have a little chip on your shoulder also. So anytime you're playing a power level, you want to prove that, hey, we belong at that level. And so you're going to get it. You're going to get their best shot. It's a big rivalry game too. But I think even in general, when you're playing up, you always want to show that you prove to be at that level.
First true road game. First road game, not true road game. But it's close. So are there any different preparation tactics that you guys are going to take this week with it being such a close road game?
No, I mean we'll treat it like just like a road game, a normal road game. Other than you don't have to get on a plane. We get on a bus and we're going to drive to the hotel. So it'll be a typical normal travel game for us. Another noon kick. So you got to get up early. You're getting ready to rock and roll and go. But it is nice to be able to play close. So now hopefully we'll have a lot of Cincinnati fans. They'll be going to the game. So hopefully we'll be able to at least get most of that stadium cheering for Cincinnati.
In terms of local recruiting, how important is this game?
Yeah, I mean it's all obviously big. I mean, talked to several recruits last night on the phone and that are from right around the area, and talking about this game and talking about this rivalry and how important it is to us and into this state. So it's obviously huge. I mean, because whatever is going to happen on Saturday is going to get replayed a lot throughout the area, and everybody's going to hear it, and including these recruits. And so you want to make it obviously positive for us.
You got Jamoy and Tony involved a little bit more this week. How important are they opposite Xavier to kind of really make this offense take a jump?
I think it's big. Obviously, we've thrown the ball to Xavier and Joe, and to have some more guys get involved is huge. And it just gives them confidence too. Jamoy played at Chattanooga, UTC, and to come out there, man, what a great throw down the sideline and a great job by Jamoy staying in bounds. He gets pushed on the play. The ball's in the air. He still stays in bounds, makes the catch for a touchdown. That was a huge play on 3rd and long. And then Tony scoring a touchdown in the red zone, huge play in the back of the end zone. So, I feel like, and then we hit Jamoy on a couple little stop routes as well. I mean, he's a guy I think that can really help us. And also with the run after the catch, because he's a strong runner. I think he'll continue to get better and better in our offense. And Tony certainly will help us. And both of those guys are kind of rotating at that Z position. So we're glad to be able to get some more guys involved, and hopefully we'll continue to get, Tyron more involved in the slot with AT as well. And anytime we can do that and spread it out, then obviously the defense cannot just key on one or two guys, and I think that certainly help our offense.
Moore makes a big play, but he only finished with 3 catches. Now, I think he was targeted 8-9 times. What can you do to improve his openness, if that's a word? Yeah, I mean, I think, the way they were playing some things that it opened up, I feel like some more for Xavier and Jamoy and Tony, on the outside guys. I mean, there was a few times where we were trying to get him the ball, but we want to take what the defense gives us. He had some impactful catches. The ones that he did catch were big plays, but certainly want to try to get the ball to him more. I think he's, obviously a big-time weapon in the run game and the pass game. So, we'll look at different ways to try to get him the ball as we move forward.
Looked like you guys could have easily had 4 interceptions in that game, 3 in the first half. Is that something you look at as plays that need to be made, or are those kind of like bonuses, cherry on top?
No, we need to make them. I mean, we need to make them. I mean, if you talked about not rushing as many. If you're not rushing as many, you got more into pass defense. So you better be able to tip balls and get some interceptions. And we had, Logan had one where it's probably a pick 6 if he gets his. Canteen had one, that he undercut a guy in the red zone. So you're taking points off the board there. It was great to see, Minkins get his early in the game, the first drive. So, yeah, I mean, we certainly need to get more interceptions. There's no question. And when they're giving you an opportunity, you got to make the most of it. We have to catch those balls. And I think that's where, your defense really comes to life. Because I think, anytime you are playing a defense that is a little bit bend but don't break, well, if that happens, then you got to stop them in the red zone or you got to get interceptions or fumbles. And fumbles are another thing. We hadn't had many opportunities for fumbles. I think we had one the first week, but we really hadn't seen the ball on the ground very much. So really trying to get our guys, once we're making that tackle to try to strip, try to get some more attempts there as well. So we certainly need to create more turnovers.
He's among the top passers, NCAA, Big 12, all that. I believe last year a couple of his bigger games were on the road. How do you expect him to respond in his first road?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I think he'll continue to get better as he understands more and more what we're trying to do offensively. He's got a great grasp of it. But, I think he's a good player. I mean, he's a talented player. He can throw the football. He's been making good decisions. So if he just continues to do that, then he'll continue to put great stats up. So it's all about taking what the defense has given us, not trying to force the ball. He did try to force one, I think, and the guy picked it off, but he was out of bounds in the end zone. But that was a forced throw. We got to eliminate all those and just take what they give us. He continues to do that, man. He'll look up at the end of the game and the end of the season, and he'll have great stats. But it's all about moving the offense, getting first downs and then scoring touchdowns. I mean, that's the job of the quarterback, and that's what we got to do a better job of.
A brutal loss, and a lot of people were upset. But in the grand scheme of things, everything's still in front of you this season. What's your message to the fan base for people who are upset that you want to stick with this team, that you think you can accomplish what you want to accomplish?
Yeah, no, I mean, shoot, man, it's the second game. I mean, we got a lot of ball left. We got a big game this week, obviously, against Miami, and this is what we're all focused on. It was a very difficult loss. Obviously, we lost by 1 point on the last-second field goal. That sucks. I don't care who it is. There were several games that way this weekend, and to be on the losing end of the stick is not good. But there's a lot of ball left in the season. We feel like we got a good football team. We got a connected football team. We got guys that have a lot of fight in them. And it was shown over the last 2 days here. So, we're going to continue to battle, continue to go out there and put a great product out there. We just got to go out and make plays and find a way to win the game in the fourth quarter. We've had a lot of close games, and since I've been here, a lot of close games, and we got to find a way to win those.
You might not want to divulge this, but okay. Do you show tape of them running across to get the bell as motivation, or do you practice running toward the bell? Because it's having seen it a few times on both ends, it's quite the charge.
No, but I mean, there's several things that we have done this summer, this week, already into 2 days to talk about and inspire our guys and let them know how big this is for this week. So I think, at the end of the game, you win the game, you know what to do. I mean, we don't have to show them that or talk about that. You win the game, you go run and get that bell. So I think every team that knows that, if you're playing for something, then that's what you're going to do. So we've made it clear to our guys how important the game is.
Last season, the troubles in the red zone against Miami was kind of the undoing of that game. What would you be doing this week different to kind of hammer home how important red zone, less field goals, more touchdowns will be important on Saturday?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, touchdowns are huge. It was obviously a big part last year. Just got finished watching it again. It's not fun to watch, not being able to get in the end zone. We were down there several times. They're good. They're stingy once they get down there. They, obviously watching all the games from last year, they're like that. We're against most guys, most people. We got to do a great job. We got to get a great plan together. We have to execute the plan on game day. If we get an opportunity in the red zone, we got to find a way to get in the end zone. Again, points is where it's at. Scoring those touchdowns, obviously, helps you so much more than have to settle for the field goals. But if you do settle for the field goal, you got to knock them down. So no matter what, we got to score once we get down in the red zone. And I think last year that's where we fell short for sure. All right, thanks, guys.
questions for Luke Kandra.
How much pride do you take with Corey running for over 100 yards, even though it was a loss? But how much pride as being an offensive lineman do you take in having somebody have that much success behind you?
Yeah, a guy like Corey, great. He's a great runner. I mean, it's always nice to see him and other running backs get over 100 yards, which means that that's something that up front in the O-line that we did right. And, we just got to keep stacking it.
You're here. What describe your motivation for not wanting to go 0-2 against Miami?
Just growing up in Cincinnati, knowing this rivalry, it's a big game. I mean, we know what it has to take, and we just got to keep stacking those days of consistently knowing what we have to do to win.
Everybody talked about leadership in the offseason, leadership of the locker room. How much of a challenge is it for that leadership group to get this team, to turn their attention away from what happened against Pitt and onto Miami and what's still to come?
Yeah, it's just we just have great leaders in the locker room, just like a couple of us said really in our meeting last night, just, that loss, we just need to forget about it and move on to this week. This is a brand new week, brand new opponent, and we just got to do what we can to beat Miami.
What can Corey Kiner do? He looked like he was on his way and maybe could have had well more than 149 in that game. What more can he do, and is there more to come in the rushing game against Miami?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, we just got to execute better up front, just offense, defense, both teams in order. And I think that would just been a different, really just the different outcome of last game and really just continuing what we need to do.
You've obviously played a lot of football. What does a loss like that feel like? And as the game goes on and then it ends up that Pitt ends up grabbing the lead and winning, when you're walking off the field, what's the feeling that kind of overtakes you about a loss like that?
It's just very disappointing. I mean, all three phases, we just couldn't execute in the second half, really in the fourth quarter. But, just the biggest difference was compared to last year, sometimes after we lost, there was a lot of fighting. But after the game Saturday, there was a lot of positive emotions, knowing that we know what we have to do in order to win, and we just couldn't execute.
While it was going on, did you feel it slipping away? How was that feeling on the sideline when it's 27-6 and then it's another score and another score and another score? How much pressure does that put on you?
Yeah, it's just that we just have to, I always personally think just the next drive. We just got to do what we can to get that next drive, try to go score. And, it's just very, very unfortunate and very disappointing.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Miller, questions?
You played at Miami. Now, you told us in the fall that you were looking forward to this game because you want to be on the right end of the rivalry. How much are you looking forward to this game? How excited are you to go back to Miami and try to?
I'm very excited to go back because, I've never won the bell, and now I get a chance to return it back to Cincinnati, and I think it's important here at this program. So it's a big week for me. I'm happy to go back home and try to get that dub. So, yep.
How many RedHawks are still on the roster that you may know?
Probably about half. That was a long time ago. I got there in 2019. It's 2024 now, so a lot of people moved on. But I know the quarterback. I knew a few people on the defensive end that I played with. So, yep.
You speak relationship with the quarterback as such that you might chat at him if you were to tackle him?
No, I don't talk mess like that. But we was cool, so we still are cool. So it's just gonna be good competitive beef.
Talk about Brett Gabbert a little bit. Obviously, you spent time with him. What does he do so well that really provides troubles for opposing defenses?
I believe his ability to extend plays is very well. He also makes good decisions with the ball. So that's what makes him a good quarterback, in my opinion.
How strange will it be just playing at Yager Stadium when last time you had the M and now you've got the C ball?
It won't be that strange because, I've moved on. We had our separate ways, so I'm ready to go back there and have a different outcome this time. So, yep.
On a 4th and 2, Konate Mumfield was able to score. It looked like you were in coverage. When you break that play down on film, what did you kind of see that went wrong on either level of the defense?
Yeah, I give them credit for the scheme that they drew up on that last play. Also, them going for it in the first place, that was a good job by them. We just got to do better on defense, get better in man coverage. So,
Satterfield said that the interceptions, you guys drop 3 of them, need to be those are plays that need to be made. How much are all the defensive backs challenging each other to kind of step up this week and make those necessary plays?
Yeah, we've been on a jug machine heavy after the game already. On Sunday's practice, we was all in line getting on the jugs, just getting extra catching in, jumping on a crash pad while trying to catch, doing everything just to work on our hands more because those are important plays that we need to make.
You finished with 8 tackles there on Saturday. Just talk about now that you have 2 game reps under you, just talk about where you're fitting into this new defensive scheme.
Yep, I'm getting more comfortable as the season goes on. The more I play in this new position, the star position, I'm getting more experience and getting my feet wet. So I'm getting better.
As an older guy, what does it mean to you to have the chance to be a mentor to a guy like Jaquan Sanks, who has come in and shown a lot of potential early in his career?
I believe I guide him in certain ways with just keeping his head mentally right. As a freshman, sometimes it's always hard being away from home, things like that. I've been there in his corner just coaching him up and helping him become the best player he can be.
How much would you have to lift to get your quads to look like his, or is it just not possible?
His quads are freaky. I don't know if I can get there ever, I'm already older than him, so he ahead of me. So I like the way his body looks. No weird stuff.
Check. So you give us an opportunity to know how Miami really feels about this rivalry, having been in that locker room. How do they feel? How do the guys, what do they say to each other about playing UC?
When I was there, it meant a lot during that week. Coach Martin makes sure he put things in your locker. Like when I was there, it was saying 14 losses in a row, something like that. That stuff matters. Like it's embarrassing. You lose that many games straight. It puts some type of hate in your heart for the other team. So I know they're gonna bring their all, and they'll be ready to play.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Had a chance to go back and look at the tape. What did you see in that second half that kind of derailed the offense and kind of kept you guys from putting more points on the board, especially in the fourth?
Yeah, obviously, like I said on Saturday too, I think they did a good job of, bringing some stuff that we hadn't seen before, some pressures we hadn't seen, and just kind of had us outnumbered there. So, but still, just the stuff that I could control, just missing a couple throws high. Not sure exactly what it was. Obviously, I like to think that I can make any throw out there. So really just, staying on top of the ball and, driving it. And I'd like to think it wouldn't sail on me.
You've been in a locker room where there's been a tough loss before. How was this one? How did they get over it? How do you approach going up to Miami now?
Yeah, we've put it behind us. We're on to Miami. It's a game that we feel good about, that we want to go and, ring the bell. So that's one of our team goals. So, we're going to go do it. And, obviously everybody was disappointed about the game on Saturday and the outcome of it, but we're not going to let it define us. It's one game. It's early on in the year. So we're going to move on and, find a way to put it behind us.
It was either late in the first half or early in the second, but you had a rush to the left. Pitt defender kind of brought you down, held onto your ankle a little bit and twisted it. You looked pretty mad, got up limping. Did that kind of tweak your ankle? Were you 100% the rest of the game, or did that not really have an impact on it?
I mean, after you take the first hit, you're never going to be 100% for the rest of the game. So, I mean, it was a little uncomfortable, but it didn't affect how I played the rest of the game.
Gabbert, their guy, ran for 75 yards last year. How about your running game? Is there more to come there? Obviously, it's part of what you do, but there haven't been necessarily as many designed runs so far.
Yeah. I'm sure that they'll come in the game plan. Obviously, you know, we tried to get it a little bit going, but Pitt did a good job of defending it. So, you know, going forward, I'm sure that there will be a couple runs called, you know, throughout the rest of the season. So hopefully, you know, I can do a better job of hitting the hole, whatever it may be, you know, gaining some yards, and then just also making stuff happen outside the pocket and off schedule.
Coach Satterfield mentioned Miami's defense as stingy there in the red zone, doesn't allow teams to really score that much. When you watch them on film, what have you been able to see from their defense thus far?
Very similar to what he said, obviously. You know, every team can drive on them up until that red zone, and they are very good there. Obviously, they're willing to give up the short stuff. They're not going to let you go behind them and, you know, throw it past them. But, you know, they're a really good defense, really, really simple defense, but really good. And, you know, they do a good job of holding people out of the end zone.
What's your approach to a road game? You played some pretty good ones at Indiana. How do you go into a road game, and do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. You know, obviously you're trying to go into somebody else's place and, you know, knock them off. So it would feel really good to go into Miami and take the ball back and bring it back home. So really, you know, that's the mentality, is going to their place and you know, go win a game. So really, nothing changes preparation-wise. Obviously, just, you know, like I just said, just going to their place and take one.
You were able to get Jamoy and Tony going a little bit more in the Pitt game. How important is it? We know teams are going to pay attention to X. We know teams are going to pay attention to Royer. How important is it to get that other side working going forward?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, and I keep, you know, harping on it throughout the season so far, but just I'm confident in all of our guys that they can all go make plays, and, you know, y'all saw that on Saturday with Jamoy and Tony making plays, and also Royer getting his first touchdown. But, you know, obviously Xavier and Royer are going to be main focuses for defenses going forward, so just got to find ways to keep sprinkling it around the field.
You had the misread on the RPO against Towson, had another one late against Pitt, and obviously you've read them right before, and it's ended up in good plays. But when a misread happens on an RPO, what's kind of the mistake that's made on your end?
You know, like, it's going to sound like plain as day, but really just that, you know, you messed up, like, as soon as it happened. Obviously, like, I don't know if y'all saw it, but obviously I missed that one on second and short, whatever it was, and I was telling Coach, like, that's on me. Obviously, it doesn't change the outcome of the play, but, you know you messed up. And, I mean, it's going to happen. It's football. Mistakes are going to happen, but, you know, just got to find a way to make the next play right and, you know, forget about the last one.
When you have a back as hot as Corey was, do you campaign to get him more time? I know you're a quarterback and you want to throw the ball, but is there anything that's in you that's like, hey, let's ride this hand because he's dominating right now?
Yeah, it always makes the pass game a little easier too. Whenever you got a guy that's really hard to bring down like Corey is, and you know he was running the ball really well on Saturday. So I love handing the ball off to him. He's a great running back. So I mean, as long as he's picking up yards for us, I'm more than willing to hand the ball off to him.
Cincinnati area guys told you about how badly they want the bell back?
Really just the entire program, you know, everybody that's been here and, you know, lived it out for the past few years, you know, just harping on how bad that they want it back and how much it means to them. So really just trying to pick their brains and, you know, find little facts and details about the rivalry that I can, you know, bring into this game and, you know, use it as fuel and stuff, just knowing that it's a massive rivalry.